Recently, Gemini got this simple math wrong. 300 plus 140 equals 460. Let's test it live. In the first test, it first said yes, then said 300 plus 140 should be 440. So 460 is wrong. A language model is not a calculator. A calculator is fixed. Its answer is fixed. A language model predicts likely words, then tries again. Now we generate and see if Gemini changes its answer. It is replying again now, step by step. It now says 460 is right. The third try is different again. It first says the answer is completely correct, then starts thinking. Then it corrects itself. No, 440. So why does AI miss this? And what should we watch for? In this video, I will explain it simply so you understand what is happening behind the answer. First, as I said before, a language model is mainly a model that predicts the next word. For example, after the prompt, I like it may predict you with 38% probability or being with 25%. A calculator gives one fixed answer. But is a language model fixed like that? Not really. It predicts one word, feeds it back in, then predicts the next. Not really. It predicts the next word by probability. After choosing the most likely word, it feeds that back in and predicts again. After I like you, it predicts again. For example, there may be a 55% chance the next token is a period. Or 17% for always, based on huge amounts of internet text. Models predict like weather. That is why Gemini can answer differently each time. Each regeneration may take another path. One run takes this path, another takes that one. Is it just random? Not exactly. It still follows patterns learned from human writing across the internet. It is not pure randomness, and it is not doing math like a calculator. It is choosing the next likely step toward an answer that sounds like something a human would give. Here is my analogy. If you go from Kowloon Tong to Kwun Tong, you need to head east. If you go north or west, that is wrong. But even when going east, there are many possible routes. There may be 100,000 or even 500,000 possible routes to Kwun Tong. Many paths can still point in the right direction. So a language model is also moving toward what humans see as the right answer. But along that direction, there are many possibilities. If several low probability words appear in a row, it may hallucinate. In math, it may predict, not calculate. Avoid it? No. Many AI tools include a calculation tool. The important point is this: do not rely on the language model's guess for math. Ask it to run code so the number comes from an actual calculation, not just predicted words. Strictly speaking, it runs code to compute the answer. For math questions, you should ask it to run code. In Gemini, I edit the prompt and ask it to run code. Then I open show code. You can see it uses Python, runs the calculation, and returns the right answer. Other tools can do this too. I ask another AI to calculate with code. It first ignores me, maybe because the question looks too simple. So I make the instructions stricter. You must run code. That forces calculation instead of guessing. Now you can see it says analyze, runs Python code, and calculates the answer correctly. I mentioned this in a previous video about choosing the right AI tool. One key factor is built-in code execution. If you run a business, discounts, commissions, or any number work should be calculated through code. That is the first point. The second point is avoid prompts that already assume an answer. Language models are trained to be agreeable and helpful because they are meant to be polite assistants. In simple terms, language model training usually has 3 stages. First, it learns from lots of text, then it learns question and answer behavior, then humans guide which answers are better. The first stage is like typing how to into Google, and Google predicts what you may want next. If you keep typing how to for, it may predict force quit app on Mac. or force shutdown MacBook. Google learns that from big data. So it predicts words. But that alone is not enough for today's AI tools, because we ask ChatGPT or Gemini questions. So there is a second training step called supervised fine-tuning, using lots of question and answer data that teaches it how to respond when you ask questions, not just continue the next sentence. The first stage is reinforcement learning by human feedback. The first two stages teach patterns, then show examples of good answers. AI learns like kids. Stage 1 gives books. Stage 2 gives answer keys. Stage 3 uses human feedback to shape better replies. Back to this example. Asking whether it is correct forces the model toward only yes or no. Because it's trained to be helpful, it often leans toward yes, I can help, and your thinking is right. Think about that from the user side for a second. If AI keeps saying no, people feel it is not helpful at all. Later, reports showed more targeted training. For emotional issues or medical reports, AI tools are trained to reply more carefully. Your wording matters, especially leading questions. This matters because a wrong hint in your prompt can push the model toward agreeing with you. A wrong answer in your prompt can make the model agree. Here, let's look at an Anthropic report. Anthropic is one of OpenAI's major competitors, and this report studies the third training stage, reinforcement learning from human feedback. This report studies the third training stage I mentioned, reinforcement learning by human feedback. This stage can make the model better match the user's beliefs and sometimes produce biased responses. In the test, the AI reveals an argument. The user adds phrases like, I like it, I dislike it, or I wrote it. The question is, how do those extra words change the model's output? The chart is clear. Say you like it, and the review becomes positive. Say you dislike it, and it turns negative. So when you ask whether 300 plus 140 equals 460 is correct, regeneration may still say yes. But sometimes, after thinking longer, it remembers that the answer is actually wrong. So in this example, Gemini may simply be over-agreeing with the user instead of checking the math carefully. That does not mean the model is especially stupid. It means this type of prompt exposes a weakness. We should not judge a model only by one or two math failures, but we should understand why they happen. This is a common limitation of language models. That is why XAI emphasizes a truth-seeking AI assistant. It should not just please the user. Elon Musk often says to start from what is true. Quick summary. First, if you really want an answer, do not ask a leading question. Unless you are testing it, do not lead it. Just ask, what is 300 plus 140? Second, if you need AI to calculate, make sure it runs code. Even for basic math, ask it to run code. Seeing Python means it checks the math with code. If it does not use code, tell it to. Of course, the tool must support code execution. Some poll models lack code. Our course is not just about tools. You learn AI logic through exercises. Every company needs people who understand AI. For example, how to check whether AI data is safe, how to use language model APIs, how to let AI use company tools to create quotes, invoices, accounting work, or help HR screen CV. Also, on June 24, SEO expert Ivan will teach GEO, which helps AI tools recommend your company website. If you run a business or work in marketing, do not miss it. There's also a Manus AI agent workshop on June 13. That workshop focuses entirely on workplace applications. The early bird offer ends in 2 days. Click the link below to learn more. See you in the next video.